Great. So Charles, how's life in Canada right now for you? How's everything going?
Cool. Having fun. Yeah, it's good. It's cool. It's great. We're having fun. Learning the new culture, learning the new system,
Hmm.
and interacting with the new environment. Yep.
Okay, okay. And how long has it been since you've been in Canada?
A year and 2 months now. Yeah.
Okay, wow, a year and 2 months, and
Yeah.
um, so that's quite a long time, I think, compared to most guests we have. They're usually kind of fresh, so
Okay.
you've been there for a while. So you must have a lot of experience that we're going to try and um, get from you. But
Okay.
let's get started with maybe the beginning. Uh, what,
Okay.
why are you here? Like, what's your story? Tell us about how you got into. First of all, how you got into tech and what made you interested, and then we'll talk a little bit about kind of your story to Canada.
I got into tech while I was in university in Lagos, Nigeria. I think then Yahoo just kind of kicked up Yahoo and the Yahoo Messenger trend and all that stuff. It kind of interested me, and that's how I started. I'm actually a mechanical engineer by profession, so tech was like just like very easy to jump into basically, and that's how it all started from designs. Then did some PHP codes, and then it just blew up. I guess so. Just blew up when I left school. Yeah. Okay, I think that's basically how I got into tech. And uh, after then, I worked for different companies. Started off as a consultant in Lagos, then worked in a publishing firm as a developer, web developer. Then moved to a senior web developer there. Worked with technologies like Ruby, Node.js, Python. And then before coming to Canada, I worked in Venture Garden Group as another company in Lagos. And there I was a senior developer. And then I led a team of front end guys. We started a front end team there, and I led that team as well. So that's why I got into more details into React and JavaScript and TypeScript. And I think that's basically me. Yeah.
Okay, okay, perfect. And what got you interested in Canada? What was specifically um, exciting for you there?
Uh, I think Canada, firstly, was my wife, definitely.
Okay,
She wanted to
that
move
makes
to
sense.
Canada. She wanted to move to Canada, and so I started doing some research, and then we decided to apply for PR, permanent residency, and
Hmm.
we got permanent residency, and then the next logical step was to start looking for a job in Canada,
Hmm.
basically.
Hmm.
And one other thing that made Canada quite interesting was it was very close to very close to the US. It was just neighboring to the US, and then San Francisco was like the tech hub there. And I was like, if I can't go to the US to San Francisco directly, then I can come to Canada and be close to San Francisco, basically.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, perfect. It sounds like a great reason to make such a commitment. Okay, and how did you get to know Global Skills Hub? Uh,
Okay. After getting my PR, then I started looking for jobs. I applied to several companies
mhm,
in Canada,
mhm,
from Vancouver to Toronto, and I keep, I didn't get any response. People are not just responding to my mails, and I was like, "What's happening? I got this PR already." And doing my search, I stumbled across Global Skills, and I filled the form online, and like
mhm.
2 days after, Dan contacted me. Dan, yeah, that was in February 2018. Dan contacted me, and we had a discussion, and then he put me in touch with Chris. Yeah, Chris the next day, and he just basically want to know about my skills and my level of my coding level and all that stuff. And I told him about my experience, and that's how Global Skills started. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Seems like a quite fast start for you there. For a lot
Yeah.
of candidates, it takes a lot longer, I guess, to kind of take action, and then sometimes
Yeah.
we're also busy, so it might take long for people to get the pool, but it was pretty good for you at least uh, during the early days.
Yes,
Um,
it was.
Great. And so when you applied, uh, did you have any hesitations? Was there anything that you were like, oh, okay?
Um, well, thinking about it now, I had a few hesitations here, definitely. I felt, with all the scam going up and down, it was like, is this real? Is this gonna be, is this gonna really work out? But after the discussion with Dan and Chris, and then I spoke with Yusuf,
Mm-hmm.
contacted me like the next month and gave me two offers, gave me two job openings and said I should apply. I was like, wow. so so fast. And yeah, and then I think that really settled my doubts about global skills, and the rest is, like we say, history.
Okay, okay, that's good. Um, I'm assuming none of your hesitations were correct, right?
No,
Just
no,
just
no,
asking. Yeah.
no, no,
Okay,
no, 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 we're correct. Yeah.
that's good. Um, and so you also mentioned you got in touch with a few people on our team, and you went through maybe a couple of conversations, and then you were introduced to jobs. Could you
Yes.
just explain a little bit more about that? Was maybe difficult for you, was challenging, or uh, you didn't know exactly what to do.
No, I think no part was kind of challenging because
Hmm.
from the first contact with Dan, then Chris, then Yusuf, everything was clearly explained to me. I didn't really have to do too much on my part and to just focus on nailing the interviews and coming here. I think most of the legworks was done by Global Skills. I got, like I said, I got two openings to apply for. The first one was quite straightforward, which is where I'm working now, Plum. I did the online assessment and did a coding test, and we went to an interview. I had an interview with the co-founder and the CTO, and they liked me. They contacted me the next day and said, okay, they want to go into a technical coding interview challenge as well. And I did that with the director of technology and the software developer all on Zoom.
Wow. Okay.
And they're so
Everything
excited.
was
Like,
remote, like
yeah,
everything was done remotely and live, so no
yeah.
no take home
No,
challenges or thing for you to do offline and then go back.
no, for Plum, everything was remote. And
Hmm.
for the other company, there was a take home exercise, and it was something about Texas Hold'em up card game or so. And because I didn't understand how the game worked, I didn't take the test actually. I told Yusuf I didn't understand how this game worked. And he gave me some resources to do it, but Plum moved so fast I didn't get the time to even go back to do the other assessment.
Wow.
So yeah.
Okay. Okay. That's good. That's good. And what was the most difficult part of your process with Plum? Can you explain it a little bit?
The most difficult part of my assessment, my Plum. I don't know. I think it was I don't know. It's been a while, but I don't think there was really any part that was kind of difficult because
Hmm.
Plum was excellent. The office manager got in touch with me. Everything was on schedule. The only
Yep.
thing was time difference sometimes. Like, do you want to meet me at this time? And that time in Lagos would be like midnight, and then we have to reschedule. But apart from that, everything was like flawless, seamless, spot on. I don't know. It was quite easy. I can't even remember any difficult challenges then.
Okay. I mean, that sounds really good. I hope you're not just saying that because you're working there already, but
No. As in, no,
no.
as in Plum was excellent. For goodness, they got me accommodation in.
Nice.
They got my Airbnb. I came alone at first because I didn't want to come with my family to a new land without knowing me in and out. And my family came in. They drove me to the airport and picked my family with me.
Mm-hmm.
Plum has been amazing. I can't say any less. Yeah. So it's not because I'm working in Plum right now, and I'm working in Plum right now because Plum is great. There's no reason to move.
Exactly. That's I'm sure Plum would be really happy to hear that from you. So
Yeah.
I'm happy that that's the case, and we're always happy when we when we hear candidates have found a job they really love and they're enjoying their home. So that's great. So happy to hear that. Tell me a little bit about, we'll go back to maybe questions regarding jobs and stuff, because there's a lot of questions also from the community maybe
Okay.
talking about as well. But how about we talk a little bit about life in Canada?
Okay.
Tell me, like, uh, when everything was done and you were ready and set, how did it feel when you were, when you were getting to Canada, or maybe the final days? Tell us a little bit about that, because I'm sure a lot of candidates um, are anxious about that process
Okay.
or are going through it right now. So I think it would be interesting for them to hear from someone who's already done this.
Okay. When everything was done and I was coming to Canada, well, one thing was a lot of emotions. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
a lot of emotions were involved because I came first without my family.
Mm-hmm.
But I think overall, it was basically just packing up, knowing what I
Mm-hmm.
needed to take along, and the great team at Global Skills really helped me with that. I had a checklist of what I needed to bring along and all that. And
Mm-hmm.
that was basically it. Packing up my things, making sure my accommodation was ready, which I didn't, which I worked with Plum and Global Skills to get somewhere close to the office so I can hit the ground running. Um, that was basically it. And then getting here, getting a
Mm-hmm.
phone, getting a bank account. Yeah, it was easy. It was like moving to a new city. Anyway, basically, it was like moving to a new city. Yeah. Booking my flight. Yeah, that's another thing. I had to book my flight a month ahead and then get here 5 days before I resumed work. But apart from that, it was seamless.
Okay. Okay. Sounds like a journey. Were there when you reached Canada, was there any surprises for you? Anything that you were delighted or maybe not so happy about?
Uh, when I reached
It's okay.
Canada,
You can be honest with us. It's fine.
yeah, definitely be honest. When I got to Canada, wow, what? I don't think there was really anything I wasn't excited about. I think everything was. One of the things that really amazed me was how multicultural Canada is. I met people from different backgrounds, races, colors, and different cultures, language, and then the food is spot on. You're trying Greek today, you're trying Mediterranean tomorrow. It's just one roller coaster of different the melting pot of different cultures, which was great, which is something I really enjoyed. And I think the really painful the only part I think really was like, oh no, was the winter. Yeah. When I came over, like,
Yeah.
oh, you gotta see winter, and I was scared. I was scared out of my boots. Actually, I came in May, and winter was like 4 or 5 months away, and I was like, oh man, what am I gonna do in winter? Everybody keeps saying winter is terrible, winter is this, winter is that, but actually, after going through one winter, it's like it's not that much of a big deal as long as you dress well. Every house is insulated. There's proper fun. Every house is insulated with good furnace and good heating system. So it wasn't the winter period wasn't really that bad as well. It was just like you gotta be home. You can't really go out as much as it was in summer. You can't really explore as much as it is in summer. But apart from that, it's still fun. There are a lot of winter sports. I did some skiing as well. I did some.
Oh, nice.
I tried some winter sports, so it wasn't really that bad. And it was a great. It's been a great adventure all along, and the people are quite friendly, very friendly. On summer, it's bright till 9 p.m., 10 p.m. sometimes, and it's different from how it is in Lagos.
Mm-hmm.
people hold doors for you, even if you're like 5, 6 spaces away, they hold the door till you come. And now it's going to go on me as well. The system works. You post a mail and it gets to where you're going to in a day or two. The system is great. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Good. It seems like you've kind of quite found your way around Canada, and it seems like you're comfortable there. So that's good. That's good. And so before we go back to kind of stuff about work, is there anything you know interesting that you like to spend your time doing there? You mentioned you're doing some sports, but anything else that's like, how do you fill up your time? What do you do there?
Okay. During the weekends, I'm a soccer coach. I coach my sons on the six team,
Wow.
and that's sometimes fun. It's fun, and then I volunteer in my church as well, my local church. Sundays, yeah, and then during the week on week, like work hours. We have break during 12 to 1, which is when I'm making this call. Normally, we would have gone to the driving range to try some golf or play baseball or play soccer or throw frisbees. It's just, I think Canadians like the outdoors a lot, and it begin to grow on me as well. I begin to try and have more fun outdoors, and yeah. Um, and then we try visiting museums, parks. I go to Toronto once in a while, planning some road trips to Ottawa and Montreal in the coming weeks because it's summer. So,
Nice.
so
You have a lot of plans.
it's like a vacation like a vacation to me, basically.
Sounds great. Sounds great. And so, actually, maybe it's a good idea to talk about your city a little bit. Tell us about where you are right now and what does it look like?
I'm in Waterloo. It's just like an hour away from Toronto. It's saner than Toronto anyway. It's more peaceful. It's more family oriented.
Mm-hmm.
It's not as popular as Toronto, even though Toronto is still amazing. It's still amazing compared to where I was coming from.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have as much of a nightlife and that like Toronto, but we still
Mm-hmm.
we got like 3 amazing universities here, and then got a good student community here, and because of that, there are a lot of fun things to do, outdoorsy things to do. You meet a lot of different people because students come from all over the world. Like University of Waterloo is like the hot, it's like the central spot for software development, AI, and deep learning and all that stuff. So it's kind of like I kind of meet a lot of people in technology, a lot of startups. A lot of startups are here as well. Google has an office here as well. So a lot of IT stuff here, It's like an upcoming Toronto, like an upcoming city. Yeah, it's fun, but
Mm-hmm.
more biased towards family and all that stuff.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. Um, are you thinking of at some point, moving from that city, or do you feel like no, this is where you're going to be for a long time?
I think this is where I'm going to be for a long time. I think this is where I'm
Nice.
going to be for a
Okay.
long
Okay.
time. My family is
That,
really
that,
liking it here. And then
nice.
there's no that traffic
Wow.
like you experience sometimes in
Okay.
Toronto.
Okay. That's a big plus.
Yeah.
That's a big difference. Great. Okay. Amazing. So you like your city, and it seems like you've you've quite been able to kind of um, really embrace your environment and kind of enjoy it, and I'm happy about that. Tell me a little bit about your work days. What does a work week or work day look like for you at Plum? I think it would be interesting for everybody to know. Okay, now you're working at a really cool startup, but what happens there to you every day?
Every day I come in, okay. Work hours is 9 to 5, but
Hmm.
it's quite flexible.
Hmm.
Coming in the morning, have our stand-ups because I'm with the IT team. Then from stand-ups, we have tasks. You do your tasks. We have different tickets. You can pick as many tickets as you want. Sometimes we have meetings where we we meet with the product team to like develop concepts or products or different features for the platform. During our break, during the lunchtime between 12 and 1, we eat lunch, we go out, take a walk, go play golf, go play basketball, go play baseball, throw frisbees, just kind of fun thing. Once in a while, we have team lunch every 2 weeks. Where we have a town hall and we discuss on what's happening in the company now, what's happening, what we're planning towards and aiming towards in the future. It's a very close knit team, yeah. Basically that's it, and then it's not a stressful kind of situation. It's more like everybody trusts you to do your job. We have a lot of trust in the company because of that trust and everybody trusts you to like be the best in your whole field. You don't want to disappoint your teammates. So even though we have so much fun, we have so much time engaging and playing together, we also have so much diligence in getting our jobs done and in doing it well.
Amazing. What is your favorite part of working at Plum? What really stands out to you? Maybe compared to your previous job that you had, or you can even look at kind of more in the past. But what really what do you really love about your work right now?
I think it's the trust part. I think it's being able to work with an amazing team. Being able to like not think about the whole process, like okay, concerned about maybe this department or that department. Being able to like let go and like sales is doing an excellent job, marketing is doing an excellent job, and then you can focus and do an excellent job, and everything comes up together, and you have an amazing product that customers really want. Yeah, it's being able to trust my teammates and being trusted as well to do a great job. Yeah, that's amazing. And then because we're a small team, we are very close. It's a close-knit team, and then I found out that when I need help, especially when I first came and I needed help, maybe moving furnitures or getting somewhere, I got a lot of my teammates and team members are ready to chip in, are ready to help, are ready to even give me their car or drive me where I want to go. It's like a family, yeah. It's like a family, and that's really good.
Okay, amazing. All right. I think we have a pretty good idea of your story, because there's just so many questions for you from the community, both in the live session and previously submitted from people in our community. And I thought it might make sense. I have like 2 more questions I want to ask you at the end, mainly just to wrap up our conversation. But before that, let's start answer some questions from the community. I'm going to start with one of the questions from our community who submitted it before. So someone's asked, what difficulties did you face when you first moved to Canada? Housing, for example, bank accounts. Was there any major challenges for you, and how did you overcome them?
When I first came, I think the major challenge was in housing, because I had no credit history. And the system, like Canada has this credit system, and you have to have good credit to sometimes get a good house. Most times, every landlord wants to see your credit history, and because I had no credit history, it was difficult getting a house at first. But at the end of the day, I got a great place, and the landlord didn't even ask for my credit history. She just wanted my company to like say vouch for me, and that was it. And Plum was happy to do that. They gave a letter saying I was working with them, and this was what I was being paid, and they would stand by me, and I got the house. So I think that was a major challenge I faced: the housing stuff and credit history.
That's amazing. That's really good. I think that's very supportive and generous of your company, and That's great, and this is a big challenge for everyone. You know, like
Yeah,
in most big cities where there's a lot of. I mean, Waterloo is not necessarily a huge city, but you know, there's a lot of stuff happening. A lot of people are
yeah,
interested in going there. A lot of companies, a lot of job opportunities. So there's competition, and housing is definitely an issue. So I'm happy that you've been able to solve that issue. What about cultural differences? Um, uh, was there anything specific that kind of stood out for you compared to where you were before? Let's say Lagos is where you mostly spent your life, right?
yeah.
Yeah. So what do you think was the cultural differences that you feel like it took you some time to adjust to, or uh, maybe it was just really different, neither good or bad, just maybe really different.
Um, in Lagos, most of it in Lagos, people kind of like how would I put this? People kind of like are very apart from being friendly, people kind of like are very involved in your life. You're more like
Hmm.
you meet someone on the road or the bus or on the lift or whatever, and people kind of strike conversations quite easily. To kind of talk, kind of like be friendly and nice, and you laugh out loud and all that. But in Canada or in Waterloo, basically, where I know it's more like everybody smiles at you, but it's more like everybody's in their own space. You understand?
Yeah.
You can't just jump in someone's face and others. Everybody's in their own space, and you have to respect that and recognize that fact. And that was something that was a bit different because I see someone, I'm like, I want to like just jump in you and like, oh, hello, and I find that everyone wants to be in their space. They smile at you, they respond to you, but not everybody is kind of. It's not you can't just jump on people's faces and just start talking. People
Yep.
people like their space and privacy, yeah. But people
Don't
are
just
friendly.
randomly talk.
Yeah,
Don't just randomly interrupt people. That's basically what I
exactly.
learned.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. That makes sense. Um, and let's see if there's any. I don't know if there's any other cultural questions. I think this is. Um, well, someone asked, "Do you understand humbleness?" Someone has seen this term used on Indeed's job description. So a lot of companies these days are looking for humbleness. Do you have any idea what that means? Does that mean anything to you?
Um, well, out of my head, not really.
Mhm.
If I was going to interpret it, I would think it means something like being ready to learn,
Okay.
because it's a new system, it's a new culture for you. You should be open to learning and being directed. It's not nobody's going to want to work with someone that thinks he knows it all or doesn't want to like learn the new system, learn the new culture, or learn the new societal values. So I don't know, but I think that's what it will come to. That's what comes to me that when you say, "Oh, being humble with your place."
I think what you're saying, I mean, to me, it makes a lot of sense what you just said. Definitely having that openness and acceptance of other people's opinions and ideas,
Yeah,
kind of accepting the reality that, you know, you might be wrong, you might make a mistake, and everybody does that. I think it's definitely a great value to have in a team, right? It makes you feel
yeah.
like you can trust other people and they can trust you. Um, Great. I don't see any other cultural questions at this point. Um, Someone asked about networking. So, how important is networking? Are you currently networking? Maybe going to some events? Are you part of any communities? You mentioned some stuff, but they were mainly kind of outside of work. What about
Yeah.
within your work environment?
Yes, I think networking is quite important. I'm in some meetups. I have some like
Hmm.
there are a lot of meetups happening randomly in Waterloo, like some Python meetups, Golang meetups, web dev meetup, professional meetups. It happens most times. It happens on Tuesday evenings. So I'm like 4 or 5 meetups where I try and connect and meet up the dev and the IT community in Waterloo. Yeah, I think it's pretty critical and important for you to network.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. Um, I'm sure like there's a lot of interesting communities for is there any specific communities that you would recommend anyone to join? Like maybe, you know, something that you think would be interesting for them?
In Canada,
Yeah.
um, there's there's one I always advise newcomers to join. That's the YMCA, because
Okay.
YMCA has a lot of activities and programs for newcomers and new immigrants to Canada. They have
Hmm.
English classes. They have like sport meetups. They have like coaching for jobs and all that. So I think and then for kids, it's also very important for your children as well, for kids to be in a community where they meet other kids and can interact and pick up the culture and the language. Yeah. So YMCA is one thing I always recommend people to join. Yeah, one community. Yeah.
Amazing, amazing. Um, so let's see, we have some other questions mainly regarding kind of a bit more about the interview process and everything. So first of all, someone asked, how long was the process from beginning to end? So from applying to, let's say, from first getting to know Global Skills Hub until, you know, landing in Canada, or at least from getting to know GSA and getting your offer, how long did it take you, roughly?
Roughly 1.5 months, a month, and
Okay,
like 6 weeks.
okay,
Because I did
and then once you, mhm.
okay, because I did
Sorry,
the whole interview process was in about a month, yeah,
yeah,
the month of March, and then I got the offer in February, in April.
okay. So you got a job in 6 weeks, and then how long did it take you to get your visa once you had your offer in hand?
Okay, I had a permanent resident visa already before I got the job.
Oh, okay, right. Okay,
So it was just
right. So your situation was a bit different then. Okay, so you were
yeah,
already with your PR.
yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Um, so what about compensation? I think that's a question for a lot of people. How do you know any sources to calculate your compensation, your salary, and other things? Do you have any
Uh,
recommendations for candidates that you used maybe to figure out what you should be asking for?
um, there are a few sites I used. There was payscale.com to check compensation for my role in Waterloo, and because tax is a big thing here, there was simpleTax.ca for calculating taxes, and I think there was the Expedite. I'm not really sure the third site does, or the site they use in comparing like living living standards between Lagos and Waterloo that made me translate what I was earning in Lagos and how it translates to what I should be earning in Canada and Waterloo.
Oh
So
wow, okay.
yeah, there was a site like that. If I find it, I can send it to you later after this.
Perfect. It would be amazing if you can send it to Adeline. She can
Okay.
include it in our next newsletter.
Okay.
We can share it for everybody. Great. Yeah, that's I think that's a very common question for everyone in the community. Let's go to some of the questions we have live today.
Okay.
Um, so someone's asking, interestingly, someone's asking about your experience prior to applying to Plum. Gave us a little bit of a summary before that, before at the beginning of the session. But how would you categorize the majority of your experience? Like, uh, what were you mostly doing, and could you give us like a really quick brief? What
Um,
type of experience did you have?
okay. Before applying to Plum, I had about 10 years experience in software development.
Hmm.
I'd moved across various roles. I was kind of a polyglot,
Hmm.
learning different languages, and started with PHP, moved to JavaScript, did some Ruby, then
Hmm.
Python, then Go. Um, yeah. So I had different experiences across different languages, different companies. I worked in like 3 companies. The last one was just 8 months before coming to Canada, and that's where I led a team of front-end guys React.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's basically.
And currently in Plum, what is your role?
As a software developer, software developer. Basically, Python and TypeScript is our major stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
Software,
Okay.
we are software developers.
Of course, yeah, but I meant like, what do you work with? Or
Okay, yeah. Basically, I work with Python and TypeScript. Python on the back end, TypeScript on the front end. There's some asynchronous stuff and all that. But those are the two major languages. Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. And are you part of like a smaller team? Are you leading a team? Are you an individual contributor? How are you how would you describe your relationship with your team right now?
Okay, right now the team is very small. We're like 5 the team, so I'm an individual contributor. Most of us are the team is very small, so there's no leeway to really like, and we are quite diverse. Three of us came in like just over a year ago from different countries, different continents.
Okay.
So it's a small team. Yeah.
Nice. Sounds good. So we answered this one, and we also talked about. So we have a bunch of questions here. Let's see. Someone asked about your day at your job. Yeah, you already answered that. You first. So from what I understood, first you were in Canada and your family joined you, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And was that an easy process or was that a difficult process for you? I'm sure a lot of our candidates also have similar situations.
Okay, I think the main reason why I didn't come at first with my family was because it was a new land, it was a new place for us, and I didn't want. I have two sons. I have two kids, a boy and a girl, and a lovely wife. I didn't want to bring everybody at once and then start hustling and start trying to settle down. So I thought, come first, settle first, then bring them later. And basically, they came just a month after I landed, and it was an easy process. I could have even come with them once because it wasn't. Canada is quite organized and it's quite easy to like kind of integrate. So it wasn't a difficult process. Picked them from the airport, drove them home. That was it. Very easy. And registering in school was quite easy as well. Showed up in the school, filled some forms, and my son was in school. So it wasn't like something that needed elaborate plan. It's just something that that was simple to do.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense to me. And other questions. Let's see what we have here from the community. Were you asked at any point in any of your interviews why you want to work in? Was this a question that was asked from you? And if so, how did you respond to it?
Okay, why I want to work in Canada?
Yeah. Have you ever experienced being asked that question in any interviews?
Yes, I was asked in Plum. Why I want to come to Canada? It's why I want to leave the comfort of all year round summer for the ash winters of the north. Yes, I was asked that question, and basically one of my major reasons for coming was, apart from my wife wanting to come, was my kids as well. I wanted to give them an advantage in education and exposure in a first world country. Yeah, that's one of them. That's the other major reason that made me come, and that's why I told Plum, yeah, I want to give my children an edge in their education and all that.
Okay. Perfect. And okay, someone asked how many companies did you interview before landing the current job offer, but you also mentioned that you spoke to two companies, right? Right? Were there any other interviews that you had? other than
No,
GSA or applying? No.
no,
Okay.
just
Just
message.
okay. Okay. Perfect. So you had 2 interviews, and one of them turned out to be an amazing job. That's great. That's really good, man. Um, Amazing. Okay. I think we're done with most of the questions I have live. So we're done there. If anyone has any other questions, feel free to jump in and add them on the QA board while we wrap this up. But I think an important piece for this is, so our goal with these sessions is for everyone to kind of get to know someone who's already been through this process, right?
Okay.
And learn from you, uh, get kind of your experience and try to apply it to what they're going to be going through. Um, was there anything that you wish you knew before you started this process? Any advice that you could give to other candidates?
Okay. I think if I was going to advise someone, it's be patient. First, you need to if you're coming from an IT job, there you want to know that you're coming to a very competitive market.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people here are well educated and good professionals in their field. So you have to definitely know your trade very well. So you have to get your basics of computer science, algorithms, data structures, system design. You have to be ready to up your game because it's a very competitive space. By the end of the day, it's something that has to do with your patience, and you got this. It's not something you are not qualified for. Even aiming to come here alone shows that you already have, I think, half of the requirements to come. So just get your game up, your skills, your technology, your stack. If you're doing Python, know Python very well. If you're doing Node.js, know Node.js very well. And just be patient. There are a lot of opportunities open here. You always get a spot. There are lots of opportunities.
Okay. Okay. Those are wise words. Is there anything I haven't asked you about? Maybe I'm curious. Like, you know, I have posted a lot of questions too, but is there anything that you wanted to share with us that I haven't asked about, or maybe just another piece of advice that you can think of that you can give?
I don't think there's anything else. I think you asked most of the questions. Yeah. It's just I always tell people, just be patient. Be patient. You don't have to be desperate. Be patient. Do the right thing. Take the right steps. Make sure you know what you're coming to do. Make sure you know your skill, trade well. It will all fall in place. Basically, there's nothing else to add to it.
It will all fall into place. I like that. That's a quote from Charles. I like that. Very nice. Okay, well, Charles, it was a pleasure talking to you. I don't want to take up too much of your time. We had a really nice conversation. I enjoyed it a lot. I hope our audience did as well, or anyone who's going to listen to this in the future would find it useful. Thank you so much for sharing your story, for giving. Thank you so much. Thank you.